Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back for another Swim Smart webinar podcast, semi-podcast. I don't think we can officially call it a podcast yet. We need someone to interview and a sponsor to officially meet that definition. So we'll keep this as a webinar, but that's okay. Thanks for all those who are joining live and for those who are going to join us later on the recording. My name's Carl. I'm the founder of Swim Smart, and I've made these kind of educational things because we're coaches on deck, and this is what we see, and this is what we try to do with our swim team. So today we're going to be talking about kind of teaching breaststroke and using several drills to build it up. Before we jump into the thought process behind that and the videos, remember that thank you for joining us. We give 20% off if you use this webinar 20 discount code on checkout. And let me just send you, and these videos we actually have for free on the website. Let me show you where to get those. So if you go to swimsmarttoday.com, this is the front page, and you go up to Bookstore, and you go to free downloadables. So we got a whole bunch of downloads here that you guys are more than, oh, actually, let me get myself out of the way. Sorry, I knew I had to do something. Okay, so you get the downloadables. We've got a whole bunch here. Most of them are free. There's a couple books that you pay for, but if you look at these slides, breaststroke slides, butterfly slides, these are basically big PowerPoints that have the videos embedded in them. So you can take them to your pool deck, you can teach your assistant coaches, you can teach your swimmers like the drills that we're gonna go over today, and what are the important things that we think about. And then if you buy like any of the courses or the books, like for the actual videos too, and you use the webinar 20 code, you'll get 20% off again. And then I'm also wearing one of our awesome t-shirts here. This is the if you don't know how to read a clock, this teaches the kids what top and bottom mean, because all the kids grow up with digital clocks now, right? They don't even know like what top and bottom refer to. I challenge you, go ask your like 9-10-year-olds like, what does the top mean? Why is it called that? They're not going to know. So if you go to the swag shop here, got a whole bunch of stuff that you can show off with. So all right, let's get to the main event. Let me get this started and switch, and I need my marker. And if you guys ever have questions or need a clarification later on, you can always email me directly, sales@swimsmarttoday.com. I'm always happy to take questions. So first thing that you want to do with every stroke, like let's say you want to teach 9, 10, 11-year-olds. This is who the group I'm focusing on, like 8 to 12-year-olds or so. You want to teach them a stroke. The strokes are super complicated. Dives are complicated, turns are complicated. So what we need to do is first break it down into little individual bite-sized pieces. So you need to take breaststroke and you need to break it down into the things that are most important to you to focus on. So for me, and you might come up with a different list, that's fine. This is just an example of how to do this. For me, timing is important. Streamline swimming, so cutting through the water. Obviously we all know that water is dense and heavy, and the more you can cut through it, the faster you'll go. Most kids, what I see especially in breaststroke, is they take too big of motions, too big of arms, too big a kick. And so we're going to do a couple drills to try to get them to focus on minimizing those motions and letting the timing of their stroke actually take them forward. And then of course distance per stroke, which is so important for this age group, for all strokes. So the first thing is we're going to focus on kicking, and I find it easiest to do it on the wall. I'm sure I'm going to repeat myself here as I go through these videos, which are pre-recorded. So let's just get started, and then if I have anything to add, we will add it.
As you probably know, breaststroke kicking is a lot different than any of the other kicking motions that we do in the other strokes. And usually at the beginning of the season, I try to catch the kids who aren't born with a breaststroke kick and try to teach it to them.
Oh, sorry.
Honestly, I haven't found a really good way to teach them how to, properly breaststroke kick. Usually it's just practice, keep reiterating, and at some point they'll get it and they'll do it right, and then it'll be correct. But probably the best way to teach it is to have the kids actually on the wall and wall kick, And here I have my head down, but you can start the kids with their head up. That way you can actually like talk to them while they're doing the kick, instead of if you have them on a kickboard and they're swimming away from you, then you have to chase them down and stop them and explain things, and then they have to try it again and they do it wrong. Here at least you can get them in one spot over and over, and you can really focus on telling them kind of what to try to do so that they can get their breaststroke kick better. And later on, we're going to talk about the timing of breaststroke, which is really the most important thing. And this, even wall kicking, you don't have to just do it at the beginning of the season. You can do it throughout the season and bring in that timing element to it. So here towards the end of the video, I start doing what we're going to call breathe, kick, glide. So in breaststroke, we want to breathe first. So head up, take a breath, kick, and then glide and shoot forward. And this is kind of it's nice to do it on the wall where you have, as a coach, you have a little more control over what's happening, and if people are doing it wrong, you can correct them right away.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the important thing here is if you're going to focus on kicking, you want the kids close to you so that you can like tell them that they're doing it wrong. If they're swimming away from you and they're 20 yards down the pool and you try to go chase after them, I think it's just inefficient. Again, a lot of kids have this like scissor kick or this dolphin kick when they're young. I'm sure somebody out there, you guys listening, probably have a really good way of fixing that. I don't. I've tried all the things. Eventually they just grow out of it, hopefully. Most of them do. So I just try to have some patience and I don't worry about it too much. I try to fix it and help them. And for some of them it clicks right away. For some it takes a year or so, but eventually they'll get there. So don't worry if that's what's happening. And then like I said there, once you get the actual kick motion down and the proper size that you want, then inside this drill you can add the timing thing, the breathe, kick, and glide, which we'll go over again later. So here we go. No arm breaststroke, and this is to focus on timing.
So the most important thing in breaststroke is timing, or any of the short axes, so breaststroke or butterfly. Timing is everything. And this drill is called no arm breaststroke, or breathe, kick, glide breaststroke. And that's really the focus of it, is we just want to work on the timing. So the arms are just not full pulls. I usually tell the kids, like, don't move your arms at all, and if they use them a little bit, that's fine. That's not a big deal. But the idea is we want to breathe first. So head up first. Keep the legs straight. And then as we're coming down, then the legs kick backwards. And hit that streamline in between every stroke to really focus on cutting through the water. So we'll play it one more time here, full speed. And I've actually had kids race this way, because little kids, they try to use their arms way too much. And if you've ever worked with kids, they'll bring their arms all the way down to their hips and even get disqualified during races. When they're really young or early in the season, I try to keep their hands from doing as much as possible, and I want their body and their kick to do most of the work. So I've actually had kids like get up on the blocks at meets and swim and race no arm breaststroke, and then of course they use their arms a little bit and it looks perfect. So, but this is a good kind of stepping stone towards full breaststroke.
Yeah, you have to understand that there's going to be a difference between what you say and what happens, right? So if you have a kid that's taking these giant arm strokes down to their hips, getting disqualified, if you tell them, hey, you need to use your arms less, take smaller strokes, they may not, that's not going to necessarily compute. They're going to keep taking big arm strokes thinking that they're taking smaller ones. But if you exaggerate what you say don't use your arms at all, and naturally they have just a tiny little arm pull, that tiny arm pull might actually be exactly what you're looking for. So again, sometimes you're gonna have to play and see what the effect of your words are. So if the words you're saying don't match what's happening, change the words you're saying to get what you want to happen in real life, right? Especially with younger kids, because that's how it's going to compute for them. And yeah, don't be afraid to let them race drills, catch up on freestyle, 3 kicks, 1 pull on butterfly, like especially if they're real, if they struggle to really like keep, like they're just not strong enough to pull their body out of the water every single stroke. No arm breaststroke. These are my favorites to get the young kids to race, and then as they get stronger and better, then we progress them into the next level. The parents may not like it. They may not understand. So you're gonna have to like be proactive and be like, hey, just a heads up, we have a long-term plan for this kid and his swimming. We want them to go fast when they're 18, not when they're 8. So we're gonna make them do these drills so that they actually swim properly from the beginning. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, and I think we can keep going. So wall arms. So again, another drill to try to get them to shrink their arms and not use them too much.
Just like the kick and breaststroke, the arms are kind of unique as well in that they don't go all the way down to the hips like they do in all the other strokes. They have to stop here to get out of the way. And a lot of times I like to teach the kids this proper motion on the wall. So here we kind of lay down, kind of right at chest level, arms are start out in front, and then as they sweep in, we want to make sure, obviously, this wall gets in the way, so the kids aren't allowed to push all the way back. And then the second they touch the wall, it's almost like they bounce off the wall and they shoot forward. You'll see a lot of kids who get stuck right here in their normal swimming. Most of that is because of timing, because they don't breathe early enough. So they're stuck here waiting to take in air before they can push forward. But this is kind of a nice drill to have them on the wall. That way you can make corrections on the fly. And you take away all the other stuff so that they can really just focus on what's going on up here. And that's really the purpose behind all these drills. You want to break things down, simplify them, and so that you can work on every component and make it perfect. And then towards the end, we put them all together.
So I think the drills are nice, but you have to find a way to really integrate it into workout. So think about this drill. How would you integrate it into workout? Well, you might say, all right, everybody on the wall, we're going to do 20 small pulls, and you're just going to focus on the arms being small. The wall is not going to let them go past. And then we're going to get into one end of the pool, and we're going to do 6 25s on whatever interval, pretending like the wall is still there, right? Swimming breaststroke, but pretending that the wall is still there. And then you do that several times. You do 3 or 4 rounds of that. And so you're integrating what the drill is teaching with the actual stroke. So that would be one thing I wanted to add. Another thing, I don't know if this really made sense when I said it. A lot of kids, and this is for breaststroke and butterfly, they breathe too late. Which is why both sets of videos have a breathe, pull, glide, or a breathe, kick, glide drill. And let me see if I can kind of demonstrate this in the video here. Okay, so you start out in the streamline position, right? The breathing is going to take a second to do, right? No matter when you start it or if you start it early, it's going to take a second to do. If you start it late, it's going to take a second to do. And it's really not as important when you start. It's more important on when you end, right? So if you start breathing early, you're going to end early, and you're going to be at the correct time to push forward with your arms forward and kicking yourself forward. If you breathe too late, so as I progress here, so the first thing here is breathing, right? So the breath happens early, the legs haven't kicked yet, but that means that my breath is going to end early, and my head's going to be down in a streamlined position. Sorry, I need to use the mouse. I'm like pointing to no one over here. The head's going to be down because I breathed early, and it's going to be in that streamlined position to take advantage of the kick. If I was to breathe late, then at this point right here, I'd still be breathing, right? Because I'm still taking that 1 second breath. And when you kick and your body's up in a vertical plane, you're not going to go anywhere, right? Because you're just pushing your whole body through the water like that. Same thing. This happens a lot on butterfly. So you want to me, I think it's important that kids breathe early, so that they're done breathing early to get in a good streamline position early, so that they can take advantage of the kick. So hopefully that makes some sense. And just trying to reiterate and put things together. So here's 2 kicks, 1 pull. This is body position, right? So a lot of kids, especially when they get tired, this is both for breaststroke and butterfly. They start to go vertical, right? And that's the last thing we want them to do, because it's so inefficient to move through the water like that.
This is the 2 kick, 1 pull drill. It's pretty common, pretty popular. Essentially, we're going to pull once and then kick twice. So this is the second kick here, and then pull once, 1 kick, 2 kicks. And really our goal, just in any of the strokes, we always want our body to be flat. We don't want to seesaw or swim uphill. That's bad. We want to always be swimming downhill. So this drill forces the kids to stop and pause and hold a good straight and flat body position, rather than if they rush it. A lot of kids, when they rush it, they'll kind of stop. They'll stop maybe right around here, and they won't push the full way down, and they'll try to go into the next stroke a little too fast. So this forces them to dive down, swim downhill, maintain good body position, and then a quick stroke. We can watch it one more time here, full speed. So, and of course we want the kick that we worked on. We want the little arm pull, not pulling all the way down to the hips. Nice.
Awesome. I don't think I have much to add. So this drill would get you disqualified in a race. In butterfly, you can actually take as many dolphin kicks as you want in a streamline per stroke, per arm stroke. In breaststroke, you have to take 1 kick for every arm pull. So this would get you disqualified, but sometimes it's worth getting disqualified to teach kids the right thing to do. All right, breaststroke to a streamline. This would not get you disqualified. So this is another great drill to make kids do during a race. And this is to try to get them back into that hydrodynamic streamline position.
This is called breaststroke to a streamline. So in between every stroke, we're actually going to come back to a full streamline, like hand over hand, squeezing the head. This is essentially normal breaststroke, right? So little kids, I don't like them to go off and just, oh, hey, we're going to do 6/100s breaststroke on, 3 minutes, without anything for them to think about. I'd rather do something where they're forced to think about what they're doing and improve their stroke, actively improve their stroke. And this is like an easy way to elevate normal breaststroke to something that they're actually going to improve with. And really, breaststroke, there's a lot of drag that's generated when you take the pull, because if we pause it right here, remember your whole body, imagine your whole body is like a box, and it's always moving forward. Even in this position where it looks like it's stopping or going backwards, it's moving forward. So, you have to imagine all this water is just slamming into you and stopping your motion. So if we can get the kids to really cut through on the push part, right, where they dive in and streamline, I think that'll be, any drag that we can reduce is always beneficial. And this is a nice way to elevate normal swimming to something that will be more beneficial.
Awesome. I don't think I have much to add. I think I did a good job of explaining that. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's keep going here. And again, if you guys have questions, leave it in the chat or in the comments, and I usually get back to them, or you can email me, however you like. And for those who are wondering, like, this video app, this used to exist. It was called Coach's Eye. It doesn't exist anymore. But my friend Glenn Mills at GoSwim.tv remade this app better than ever before, specifically for swimmers. So Maybe I need to leave that as a link in the description from now on so that people know how to get this app. And it's so useful to use it on your own swimmers. Make sure the parents are okay with you videotaping them, obviously. But it's so useful for swimmers to see themselves and for you to go frame by frame, draw on the thing, and tell them what they're doing and what they need to do. Anyway, so let's look at some advanced drills. These are not things I do every day. It's usually not things I do with littler kids. This may be like the more advanced, like 13, 14, 15-year-old kids. They have elements to them that could harm the stroke rather than help it, so you have to be wary and you have to be careful. But there are certain problems that happen in breaststroke. Sometimes breaststroke gets too slow, right? We have too much distance per stroke, or the hands or the arms are just kind of like floating around. They're not fast. So we want them to get fast. Sometimes we want a little bit of a hip action and an undulation to the stroke, and also to work on a narrower kick. If you look up YouTube videos of like Rebecca Soni or Adam Peaty, if you look underwater, I mean, their kick is so tiny. It's so small. You wonder how they go anywhere. But they really do a great job. So these are some drills that, optional, that you can use. We'll start with breaststroke with a freestyle kick, which helps us focus on having fast hands. Let me get rid of the pen, and we'll go.
This is breaststroke with a freestyle kick, one of the advanced drills that we do. The real focus here is fast arms. If you watch the arms, because they're not getting a drive from the back, they really need to get out of the way quickly so that you can maintain forward momentum, right? And you get to take away the timing element of the kick a little bit, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And this is a really good one to do with fins. And the extra speed, the faster you're moving in the water, the more drag you'll feel on you. And so if you can feel that drag in the front as you're taking a stroke, it kind of incentivizes your body to get the hands out of the way and let the legs do most of the work, if you have fins on, that is. So that's kind of one of the ways to augment the drill and make it even a little better. But main thing of this is fast hands, fast hands, fast hands.
Yeah, I think adding fins to this helps a lot. Let's say you want to practice like super fast swimming breaststroke, like you're doing the 50 breaststroke in like a medley relay, right? This would be a great opportunity to throw this drill in, put some fins on, and get the kids to actually pick up speed and get their arms to move quickly. So next we'll do breaststroke with a butterfly kick, which focuses on kind of the body position, just a little undulation. Again, this is a good one for fins and even like longer sprints, like 75s, 100s, and getting the kids to maintain their body motion and throughout the whole 100. So anyway, we'll get going.
So what you'll notice in breaststroke, just like butterfly, there's a bit of an undulation to the body. It kind of goes up and down, and as we press down, we push our hips forward, not necessarily up, but forward. And this is breaststroke with a fly kick. My fly kick here is maybe a little too big, but that's all right. That's not the purpose, right? We're not working on our fly kick. We're working on the hips, pushing forward as you dive down, so that you can get this kind of nice body roll into the water when we do normal breaststroke. Let's see here. Let's play it one more time. And things here get a little exaggerated. We come up high, push down deep, come up high, push down deep. That's fine. And that's why this is an advanced drill, because all the advanced drills have a tendency to make something else worse. Like this one, we're not holding our body line quite as well as before, but the purpose is to work on something else. It's to work on undulation and hip motion.
Yeah, so think of these advanced drills as like tools in your toolbox, right? You see a kid that has a certain problem, like they don't press their chest all the way down, or their hips are constantly dragging and they're always going upwards. How am I going to fix that problem? What tool can I take out of the box? What drill can I take out of the box to help them fix that and understand the proper way to swim? That's when these drills come into play. Okay, last one here, ankle touches, probably something we've all done, but just to kind of reiterate what it's for, right? Give the kids one drill, one focus. This drill is for this thing, and don't worry about anything else.
One of the big things these days in breaststroke is having a really narrow kick, and there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, you can get almost all the power you need without bringing your knees out too wide, and most kids really bring their knees out really, really wide because they're trying to grip as much water as they can. It's not really necessary. And number two, and probably even more important, a narrow kick doesn't take as long to complete. So you can get your tempo up, and these days the real elite good breaststrokers manage to get their tempos up real high. So this is simply, you start out, this is just ankle touches is what this is called. So you start out with your hands down by your side. This would be good to combine with a snorkel. That's my drawing of a snorkel. It's not very good. And then all you do is just work on, as you bring your ankles up, you touch them to your fingers, and that way you're forced to keep the knees and ankles close to you and not out wide like that, and you just kick them back. So it's basically just breaststroke kick, but as you touch your fingertips, you focus on keeping the ankles and knees close together.
So again, these drills aren't perfect, right? My heels are coming up all the way to my butt, which is probably way too much. But this is to teach to keep the knees in narrow, so keep the focus there. But, I think that is it. So again, thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate that you guys came. And if you like this stuff and you think it's valuable, let us know in the comments. Like, share, all the usual. Remember to use the 20% off webinar code for anything, not just the books and the courses, but any of the products, the push paddles, the e-paddles, the squeeze lines, the breakaways, the harnesses. So we got tons that we like to offer people. These are things that we use on our team, right? So we think that they're beneficial, and if we think it's beneficial, maybe it's beneficial for somebody else. So that's why we put it out there for everyone to try. And thank you again for joining. Hopefully we'll see you next time. And if you have a specific request on something, maybe we'll do something off the wall next time. Maybe we'll do like psychology and sports psychology and the things that kind of go around there. It's a little bit of a different chat, but might have some useful points. So thanks for joining. We'll see you guys next time.